I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jackie. Welcome back to Dumb Witch Club. Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't. I was just going to sigh.
Oh, okay.
I was just taking like a cleansing breath.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's good.
It was like just, I guess I could do that like before.
Yeah, maybe you should do that before we start recording.
But then it reminds everybody that taking a cleansing breath is a good thing. So I'm going to spin it that way.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
The more you know, PSA.
That's
up
right.
in here.
Yeah.
So, man, okay. Before we do our card pull, I just want to say, and I think I said this last time too.
Oh, I love this. What are you going to say?
Just that I feel like fall is in the air.
I know. Yeah. It's been so nice. And it's, we talked about this. There's trepidatiousness.
Well, because I don't trust this fall that's in the air.
No.
I'm worried that, like, October 10th, it's going to be 107 degrees.
Yeah.
And then we're all going to be, like,
cursing the
rue
sky.
the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Southern Californians can never trust
You know
the
what I was
weather.
going to say? I was going to say, fie upon this weather.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do I work at the Renaissance Fair again, suddenly?
I don't know. But it's, take the girl out of the Renaissance Fair, but you can't take the Renaissance Fair out of the girl.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
So, evidently.
I like it. I think it's great.
Well, yeah. Anyways. Okay, that makes one of us. Okay. Let's do a card pull.
On this little lovely fallish evening.
Yes. Oh, so you have, well, you can say, but you have Moon Witch, and it is sort of an autumnal feeling deck, I think.
It is. Yeah. Autumnal. I know. This deck is so pretty.
It is very pretty.
It's pretty.
And I know, thank you. I know that I commented on this, I believe, the last time that we used it, but I love that the box is black and then the cards are white, and it's sort of giving, like, the duality, and...
It's giving Libra.
Yeah, it is giving Libra.
It is.
Okay, I should have learned my lesson from Virgo.
Yeah.
That this is a Virgo-Libra Cusp episode.
Yeah.
What the Cusp. Mm-hmm. So we're still dealing with Virgo, but I'm good with Virgo now.
Yes, you are.
100% made peace with Virgo. We're besties for life now. Love Virgo energy. Libra, I'm not so sure about. So, yeah, but I should learn my lesson that by the end of this, I'm probably going to love Libra too.
Probably. I think Virgo energy part of the cusp would appreciate your attempt to try.
Okay, all right.
Let's take her.
Okay.
Oh.
What does she tell us?
Spells and rituals.
Ooh.
Bring magic and self-care together.
Okay, that's very good.
I shall.
Mm-hmm.
We shall. And in fact, we have a specific way for you to do that this week that we'll get to in a little while.
Perfect. I also can't help but notice this is a cusp episode, and that card is about bringing two things together. And Libra does have something to do with, that as well. So
yeah, definitely. It's perfect.
Spells and rituals.
I really like it, and I'm just going to place it thus.
That is perfect. And I love spells and rituals. And it also just brings me back to the throwback of previous episodes where we talk a lot more about spells and rituals.
Yes, check those out.
Yes, please do. So, here you are.
Thank you. Okay. Let's talk about why, though. It's all right.
Do we have to?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
We do because we promised them that we're going to. So.
Okay. Yeah. No, it is a standard segment in this, so I should get used to it. I feel like every time it's time for why though, I'm like, ugh.
Well, it's understandable because why though is like why though, and so yeah, you're just like embodying that.
We did name it that.
We did name it that because that's how we feel.
Yeah, that's true. It was our idea, and it reflects our. Yeah. So
yeah.
Okay. I also feel like. And I did this last time too, and I'm going to do it again.
Okay.
This is not about, like, the week ahead, like the usual why, though. This is about, like, right now.
Okay.
Like, this week is a mess. It's bad. And by the time this comes out, I'm talking about last week, okay? Do you know what I mean? Okay?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, this week that we're in the midst of.
Yes, and I need to go back and watch last week's Dumb Witch Club to find out why.
We mentioned it.
I know.
And I think that I was still in that mode of, nope, just making my lists. Because I really remember saying that and being like, I'm ignoring everything else. And I'm just doing, And for the most part, I've been able to do that. But there have been some major curveballs thrown at me to be like, are you sure? You sure? Because you made all these lists and then look what happened. Like, the list be damned. Like, you could not control all of these things. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to control.
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that because that is, I think that is a lesson of Virgo season for sure, is that it is about, doing your lists and having that intention and all of your organized things and all of your categories and all of your manifestations towards all of that. But you can't actually control everything.
No, you can't.
And you have to be okay with that.
Yes.
Even if it's upsetting or hurtful or whatever, you have to be okay with that.
And let me just say, and maybe this will make you think about something. I think that tinge of Libra coming in has helped with that. Because if it's very, very strictly Virgo, it is more frustrating. But the fact that Libra weighing the scales, being like, yeah, but what about, have you thought about this? Because if you really got that, then it would have been this, has really helped me. I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. So forget it.
I know, and I am guilty of also contributing that same energy to her situation. So whatever, I'm a hypocrite. It's fine, okay? It's fine. Look, Mars is my chart ruler because I'm an Aries rising. And my Mars is in Libra, so I'm all fucked up, okay? Just whatever.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody is.
I know.
Everybody is.
Anyways, okay.
It's okay.
So what about this week? Tell me what's going on.
Okay, so, we have a pretty major thing. Ooh. And they're like, God, friggin' quarter moon. It's not.
Because that was last time.
That's last time, so just shut up.
And it's going to be next time, too. But it's not today.
It's not today. So, no, we have a full moon coming.
Love.
On September 29th, we've got a full moon, and you're going to be happy about this, which you already know. I know you already know, but it's in Aries.
Yeah, of course I'm happy about that.
Yeah, which everyone should know at this point because we, have explained this. But anyway, because you get the dualities, you get the binaries. So, because we're in Libra season, the full moon is in Aries. So, I think that you're also going to really like this. Obviously, you're an Aries rising, but I think a lot of people are going to like this because in that Libra season, even though you get that kind of like balance and that looking at things like perspective taking, for some of us, that becomes a little frustrating, especially with a lot of fire placements or fixed signs.
Or, as in... And, yeah.
And or.
Okay.
Yeah. So, this is great because this full moon, it's all about you. It's all about you.
Okay. I do feel a lot better.
Like, not just you, but you know what I mean? Like you. Like the proverbial you.
Oh.
Like the royal you.
But for me, it's all about me.
For you, it's all about you. And for me, it's all about me. And for you, it's all about you. And it's great. It's just great. So, this full moon, it was almost a lunar eclipse, like almost.
Yeah.
It just few days and it would have been it, but
yeah, but because and this is also reminding me and bringing in when we were talking about this earlier, like so we know eclipse season happens, and if you didn't know, eclipse season happens when the moon is approaching what we call the north and the south nodes, which is like a point in space that marks the elliptical where the sun, anyway, whatever. Yeah. Doesn't matter. It's a thing. You don't need to, if you want to look up the calculation, please be my guest. But anyway, it's not that important. What's important is that the nodes were in Scorpio and Taurus for quite a while and have since shifted into Aries and Libra because they're always in the polarities, obviously, because we're doing the top half and the bottom half. And so we have a north node, we have a south node. They have different meanings astrologically, and currently I believe the north node is in Aries and the south node is in Libra, which means as we're in Libra season and again in Aries season, we will be experiencing eclipse season.
Yes. So this is kind of like ushering that in. It's like a little bit of like the preview to that. So cool. And I think that's great because this is really a time to focus on you. And I think that's really important when you're preparing for sort of those like kind of chaotic potentially.
Yeah.
Right.
And we will
Seasons to come
definitely
up.
get into eclipse season energy as it is closer. It's in a couple weeks.
Yeah, exactly. But for now, just
But for now.
focus on you. So yeah, so it's good. Just think about what you want. So Libra is bringing in sort of that, like, it always brings in that partnership vibe, because it's all about partnerships and relationships and stuff like that. But with this full moon, it's okay to kind of like distance yourself a little bit from that energy. Not distance yourself, but kind of put that aside and really just focus on that me energy of Aries.
Can I tell you what else I like about this?
Yeah.
And this, of course, could be true in any moon phase cycle. But let's say at the new moon, you brought in intentionally some relationship, harmony, negotiating, balancing Libra energy, right?
Yes.
And so as it's cycling through this month, now you're getting a chance to illuminate on that in an Aries way.
And really decide, like, was I making those decisions for me, or was I making those decisions because I was being people pleasing?
Right. And so this gives you a chance, and that's always that polarity energy. Like, whatever one you're starting with, you always get the opportunity halfway through to be like, wait, let me check myself on this. So,
and if your MO is not to really be people pleasing, and you're like, well, I don't think I was doing that, perhaps it's not about others, but perhaps it's about yourself, because it can always be about you as well. It can always be about, what are the stories you're telling yourself? Are you fighting against your own self or your authentic self? So, I think it's always important to point that out, because I think sometimes people feel a little bit left out in conversations like that, because they're like, well, I don't really have like any active relationships that I'm sort of pursuing or working on at the moment. I'm kind of just like doing things solo. That's cool. It can always be adapted to be looking at how you're sort of relating to the things that you're telling yourself. So that could be happening too. And it's a great opportunity for you to kind of like look at those things and like reignite kind of like that Aries fire for the stuff that you do want, or the way you do want to be sort of presenting yourself or talking to yourself. So yeah, it's nice. It's a good opportunity for that.
I like it. I know we're like obsessed with the moon and all of its glorious phases. Yeah. I do love a full moon.
Yeah. Yeah. So do I. I love a full moon. I love a new moon. I love all the moons.
I know. It's true. It's true. Is there anything else mentionable, worth mentioning?
Well, yeah, a little bit. So same day, we have Venus, which is in Leo, going to be squaring Uranus, which is in Taurus.
Yep.
So,
that'd be a square. A square.
So, okay, that is a little bit about like relationships and sort of how you're handling them at the moment and kind of how you're communicating. And so, but I think that because of that energy plus the Aries full moon, I feel like it's giving a really good opportunity to kind of like bring up the tough subjects and really like get things out on it. Because especially if you're sort of like focusing on yourself in that, in those full moon kind of intentions, that might inspire you to be like, I have something to say. And I'm going to say it because it's important.
Yeah. And that's making me think, like, I'm pretty sure Mercury's out of retrograde.
Yeah.
And is Mercury still in Virgo?
I believe.
Okay, so that's really kind of like just driving the arrow home through all of this.
Yeah.
If you want to have a communication, it can be really direct. It can be really pointed, not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way. It might be like exactly what that partnership or that relationship needs. It might be...
Or what you need within that relationship.
Yep. Yeah. Or what you might need to tell yourself because, that's not been going well for you or something. So, yeah, it could be a pretty big breakthrough.
Nice.
So that's good. And check your Mars placement switch. We know yours because you just said it. So
I know. It's
check
the
yours.
worst one. Mars is in its detriment. It's not a good placement.
It's okay.
It's fine. I know. It's also my chart ruler. Anyways, I know I already said all of this, and I don't know why I'm whining about it. Jeez. Okay.
It's been a weird week. You're whining about it because we're in the middle of this one. We haven't got to this yet.
That's true. No, you're right. And I'm sure, yes. And when that, yes.
Once you do, then you can release.
Okay, good. Can't wait for that. It's my favorite.
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay, so I guess that is why, though.
That's why, though.
What do you say we pull up It's a big witch energy.
Big witch energy. Yeah, let's do it.
And what's our big witch energy for?
What the cusp?
Virgo Libra edition.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've already alluded to this, and this is probably no surprise to anyone, but like, I have a lot of issues with this cusp. I don't want to say I have issues with the cusp, but I had issues thinking about it and writing about it. I don't know how I feel about it. I did realize one thing, which I'm going to just start with. I'm sorry. Am I already just...
No, it's funny.
Too much. Okay. So it is called the cusp of beauty.
Yeah.
Okay, the cusp of beauty. So if you've noticed, all these cusps have like a name, a theme. And I think partly, and this is so childish and very Aries rising, I'm just going to admit to it. I'm jealous because I want to be in the cusp of beauty. I do not want to be born in the Virgo-Libra period.
No.
But I want the cusp of beauty.
Yeah, you want that to apply to you.
Yes, and so I'm mad and jealous that it is called the cusp of beauty. Okay?
Yeah, that's all right.
Whatever. So I got over that, though, okay? Do I seem over it? I seem really over it. Yeah. Okay, anyway, I'm over it, okay? So moving on.
Yeah, I can tell that you are.
Moving on.
You know that you can define things however you want to define things. You don't have to accept that they call it that.
I do not accept it.
Right? Who's they?
I do not accept it.
Who made that up? We don't know who they are.
I don't know who they are.
Yeah, so you can just say, no, I don't believe that.
Well, but I actually do. I do get it, though, and as we get into it, I do understand why it's called that.
It does make sense. I'm just giving you the option.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will take that option.
Cool.
I don't want it to be called that anymore.
Okay. I won't reference it at all for the rest of this whole entire episode. I didn't even write it down, so...
Support me in my... I just saw you cover it up. That's fine. It's totally fine.
What are you talking about?
It's totally fine.
Just had to put my hand here. It was hurting.
I'm just glad that I'm over it, okay?
Yeah.
So I don't need...
Me too.
I don't need to be babied because I'm over it.
Okay. Okay, let's move on. So when is the cusp that we shall not
I don't know.
name?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, it is. I'll just say it then. It's from the 19th of September to like the 25th-ish.
Yes, exactly. Okay, I'm going to come back, everybody.
Okay,
yes.
yay.
I think it is a really important cusp period. And
yeah, it is.
It is over the autumn equinox, or sometimes called the Libra equinox. We're like halfway through the astrological year. And it's an important time. It's a kind of a big time.
Yes, it's a big time. It's an important time. But this one, I also feel, is not like some massive shift, abrupt change like some of them are.
I agree. And I think maybe, I don't want to say it's because it's Libra, but it's a more harmonious cusp, and harmony is sort of a hallmark of Libra energy, so it is interesting. It
is. I feel like as much as I think that Virgo really likes to kind of retain control, I think they also very much appreciate an organization, a flow, a pattern, symmetry. Like they respect, a sort of tradition of that. And so I can see like a reluctancy, but it's like, no, but you know what? This is the time and this is changing. And so I am going to, keep calm and carry on type of energy and like let Libra like do its thing. And then Libra's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, thanks. Like, let's just kind of like move over here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're totally right. And I'm like, but you are right. So, okay, let's talk more about what we're dealing with in this transition, in this cusp period. So we are dealing with, obviously, Virgo transitioning to Libra, which means we are dealing with an earth sign transitioning to an air sign. And I think we are dealing with the planet Mercury transitioning to the planet Venus.
Right.
And I think what's interesting about this cusp with those planets is that those planets rule two signs.
Yeah.
And that these are sort of the second signs that they rule.
Yep.
When you're going in order around the astrological wheel.
Yep.
And so I think it's a different version of Mercury, and it's a different version of Venus that are coming through and sort of exchanging and intermingling during this time period.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of okay. I feel like I was just thinking about this today. You know how when we've been talking about it the past couple weeks, how you get that sort of feeling in the air, and it's this intangible quality, and it's like, ooh, it's like fallish, right? And it's like it's coming and it's exciting. I really do feel like we get that transition from Leo to Virgo, which is like that back to school, like summer's over, and you're like, and you're just like, okay, right? That happens, and you're like, fine, right? So you're dealing with that, and then that airy Libra comes in and is like, exciting, like,
you're right,
like fall's coming, like the Burr months are coming, and Halloween is coming, and that is what's in the air. As it's an air sign.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And that makes it really, for me, like connect to Venus.
Yes.
To this loving, sweet, kind of enveloping, like, energy.
Yes.
You know, which is about, like, hey, everybody, like, let's all come together. We're going to, like, bob for apples, or we're going to do a pumpkin patch. Like, it's so cute. Yeah.
And, like, all the things coming up for, like, the rest of the fall season.
Yes.
Which is a lot about that, and a lot of Libra-ness, right? Like a lot of like creativity and like expression and beauty and decorations and aesthetics and
very, very true. Yes, which also, and I guess we'll get more into this we've already covered Libra in our new sign Hootist series.
I gotta go all the way back.
Ooh, I know. We might need to go back because I'm not even sure what we said in that episode. But anyway, I was going to say, I feel like with this togetherness and this everything that you're saying, it really does kind of usher in what is a major holiday season in the U.S. and much of the world with like multiple major holidays that come up over the next month. So it's kind of nice. But coming back to the cusp time, we are transitioning into that. I think so when we are dealing with earth and air.
Yeah.
In this case, we've talked about the transition from earth to air before, and it's kind of been like this upheaval, this tornado-ness. That's the Taurus to Gemini transition. Which is like, whew. This one is not so much. I feel like this one is like a gentle welcome breeze.
Yes.
Like you're walking on the earth and you're in a lovely meadow, and then you're feeling this breeze wind, and you're like, oh, I'm here. This is beautiful.
Yes. It's like bringing in, like you're grounded, earthy. Perhaps you're walking on a college campus.
Sure.
Right? Focused on your classes. I don't know. And then that breeze comes in and is like, there's Halloween parties coming up. There's mixers coming up. Homecoming's coming up. And you're like, oh, cute. I like this. I want a scarf.
Yeah, totally. No, I love it. I love that. Everyone at Ithaca College is like, yes.
Oh my God, I want to be there.
I know you do. You would fit right in, I'm sure.
I love that.
So I also, another thing I have is that life cycle age that goes along with all the signs and the cusps. So this one is very, very interesting, I must say. So when we're talking about that life cycle that goes with the entire astrological wheel, it really is breaking down each sign into age sections based on one cycle of Uranus, which is 84 years, being the human life cycle. So those are sort of the numbers that are at play here. So when we're getting to Libra, we are right in the middle of that. So we're at like 42 years old, and specifically on this cusp, it is 42 years old, which is the Uranus opposition in your birth chart, if you're that age. It's also so we talk a lot about Saturn return.
Yeah.
It also is your Saturn opposition.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's halfway to your next Saturn return.
Oh, wow.
So it's a significant time of life. It's really, truly midlife. And what happens during midlife, right? Midlife crisis. Okay, so within that, and I'm going to tie it in, this is like the stereotypical, like, and I'm going to use like the, you know, sort of suburban white man stereotype here. What does he do in his midlife crisis? He needs more attention, so I'm going to give him some.
Of course.
What's he going to do in his midlife crisis?
He starts Propecia.
He's going to buy a sports car.
Yes, and it's yellow.
He's going to divorce his wife.
Get rid of her.
And he's going to date some young, hot 20-year-old.
Gonna try.
Okay, right. This is not going to last. None of this is going to last. But the point is, there becomes potentially this interest in youth, in revitalizing yourself, in beauty, in wanting to be around beautiful and attractive objects and people and things.
Yes.
So taking it all the way to the stereotype is really just to illustrate that that's what this cusp is doing. This cusp is sort of marrying the states of like intellectual and really grounded, sensual, like beauty and wanting to be surrounded by attractive things.
Wow.
But there's also a depth to it because we're not that 20-year-old that's like, that's hot. Like, we're like in a middle, a more middle age, where it can reckon some immaturity coming back into it.
Yeah.
And I think people born in this sign period, in this cusp period, can tend towards a little immaturity at times and a little passive aggressiveness and a little bit of insistence that they are right. But it all kind of lines up with that age on that lifespan cycle concept.
How fascinating.
I know.
Now I'm just picturing that man driving around in his yellow Corvette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. With
ridiculous.
some, you know, again, the stereotypical, like, floozy, young, doesn't care about him, just trying to get money off him, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all very negative and stupid and stereotypical.
Yeah.
But that's not the point of it. The point of it is to say, like, this midlife time can be a time, if you're unevolved, where you get really deeply into, like, superficial, trying to act like you're young when you're not, and, you know, this kind of feeling.
That's definitely the shadow side of Libra, too, because Libra is, and again, watch that episode, but Libra is all about aesthetics. It's like aesthetics over everything. Like, it doesn't even matter if it, like, aligns. Like, if it looks right, it is right. And sometimes they, with that airiness, don't bother to dig a little deeper and make sure, like, that the inside's beautiful, not just the outside.
Yes.
It's the shadow side of that sign. So it really does make a lot of sense that that's like what's coming up.
Yeah, and I almost think that like the Virgo energy in the cusp mixing with that, it almost doesn't really help as much as you would think.
No, it's almost like nitpicky and like...
Well, I was going to say, I think Virgo kind of likes it too.
Yeah,
she just doesn't admit it most of the time.
Yeah.
She's kind of like, oh, okay, I guess. Like, I don't know. I was just here to study, and then everyone's like partying now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like the shadow side of Virgo with that too, right? Like coupled with that too, that is like very high standards and very exacting. Like,
absolutely.
And maybe even like outside of a perspective of what they maybe deserve or how that matches what they're presenting, not to be mean, but it's like, have you looked at what is here before you, that's what you expect to have?
It's very apt.
And with the cis hetero white man example, I don't feel too bad saying that.
Yeah.
But have you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So totally.
Yes. Okay, so that is that. Okay, so you already talked about this cusp period, definitely drawn to beauty, aesthetics, lifestyle, details.
Yeah.
A lot of that. I also think that because of, again, that Virgo influence coming in, they can be very good at running a very smooth event.
Totally.
Or
they're event planners.
Household or, you know, even business project, you know. And I think that is a person you definitely would want in charge of something for you.
You would want them in charge. I also feel like you would not mind having them represent you in a court of law.
Totally.
It's like, okay, everyone like kind of like it's the thing with Libra because like they're literally represented by the scales, but
yeah, they do rule like the law and legal
they do
stuff,
and that's part of it or whatever. But I really feel like the cusp energy is even more so that because you have that Virgo influence and that energy is so meticulous. Like Virgos do not forget one single thing. They have every receipt. They remember everything you said. It's all time stamped. Like they have everything. They see everything. And Libra energy is like that master of like perspective taking. And even if they don't agree with the other side, like that's what makes a good lawyer, is being able to see it so that you can attack it and refute it. And I feel like Libras, that's exactly what they do. So that combo, like, that's the lawyer that you want.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if Robert Shapiro was Virgo-Libra Cusp, but, I mean, could have been.
We should look that up. Although, yeah, I'm like, do I really want to know anything about him?
I don't know, probably not.
Yeah, no, I don't, but...
It's the first name that popped into my head. At least it wasn't Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Well, not this time. I was going to say, is there like a good heroic attorney that we can... I don't think there is.
Erin Brockovich.
She wasn't an attorney?
Yeah, that's right. She wasn't an attorney. She might as well have been, though. She did everything they did.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Is there some, like, defense attorney? I don't know.
Who was the guy, like, from a long time ago? Like, the Leopold and Loeb guy. Who was that?
I don't know. I don't know any of these names.
Oh, God.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Look at it later.
All right. So, okay. But along with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And kind of something that I already said, too. I think this cusp can be quite passive-aggressive. I think they are very likely to think that they are right about things most of the time. Because they will have considered your point of view and torn it down entirely and presented their own as the correct point of view.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And they can tend to be like overthinkers to the max. So I think that with that, like, they just know that they've thought about it way more than you ever have.
And they probably have.
But because it doesn't
I ain't thinking about all of that.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that it's, like, productive thought. And I think that that's sometimes where they get tripped up, because they think, well, I've thought about this a million times. It's like, yeah, but maybe it was just, like, obsessive compulsive and, like...
Well, and I think that is, again, where we have more of a Virgo influence on a pure Libra energy, where a Libra, they could overthink too, but I think a Virgo will definitely overthink.
Oh, yeah.
And they will insist that the amount of time that they spent thinking means it was all good thinking.
Right.
Not that it could have been wasteful overthinking that didn't get them anywhere. Never.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's definitely true. I do want to touch quickly on, so there is, like, this aesthetics and beauty, you know, kind of concept and harmony, which I think is about relationship, but also about harmonious environment. And this can be very superficial.
Yeah, it can.
But I also want to say, I think that could potentially be just a criticism of these folks, because I think there is a deep inner ideal.
I agree.
That they hold. And their attempt to execute it may not be done well, in the sense that it may come off very condescending and snobbish and controlling. But I think often they are chasing a vision that they have in their mind, that they really are, they themselves are frustrated that they can never enact the way that they want it to be. And never really meet their own standard. And I think that can be frustrating, even more so than just with a pure Virgo.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I'm so glad that you said that, because I think that's the thing that's missing sometimes when people think about this energy, is that, like, that there's an arbitrariness to it, but there isn't. Like you said, there's a deep commitment to sort of this ideal. And I think that that's what people don't always see, because maybe they're not great at communicating that.
Because I think they're just so caught and stuck in it.
Yes.
That they're not always, and they believe that they can execute it themselves. So they don't always communicate out like, oh, this is what I'm trying to achieve. They're just like, I'm doing it. I'm going to do it.
Yes. Yeah. When I was doing this, I thought of a couple of characters, not people, not like actual people, not celebrities, but characters played by people that remind me of this energy.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that.
One of whom was Miranda Priestley from Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Sure.
Like, so elegant, so aesthetic, like, understands that stuff to, like, an ultimate level, but is this exacting, harsh,
Yes.
overtly aggressive, not really passive aggressive, though I guess she could be, person, but maybe she has a fire moon. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, yeah. We're also just speculating on this energy showing up. We don't know. This person doesn't have an astrological chart that we know of.
But like, I'm thinking of that like speech that she says where she's just ripping Andy a new one about like, oh, you think you're above fashion? And she just breaks it all down for her about how invested she actually is in fashion, and she's raising her nose to this, and it's like this industry that employs all these people, and she's more affected by it than she thinks, and she's thought about this to a T, and she does it on the spot like that in such an elegant way, a harsh way, but an elegant way, and it's like yes, it's about her, but it's also like her protecting like that entire kind of everything she's dedicated her life to.
Yes, definitely.
And yeah, it just popped into my head. I was like, oh, yeah, that character. And then I also thought somewhat Emily Gilmore.
Yes, I can see that for sure.
Right?
Yes.
It's not ill-intentioned. It's not like there's no meanness to it. It's just...
Sometimes there's a little meanness to it.
Sometimes there is, which is why I'm like, okay, maybe fireman. But like... just this commitment, to like, no, like this is the way that things are supposed to be. And it's not in a bad way. It's just like, this is what I believe, like so strongly.
Yes. And I think really that example too goes to a person who deep inside holds this ideal of like the way that family should be or the way that, social things should be conducted.
Right.
And it really is this genuine value within her and within maybe these people that, yes, sometimes it's the way it's expressed. It is. It's exacting and demanding and can appear somewhat superficial. Like, why do you care what side the napkin's on? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But it's not about the napkin. It's about the napkin representing the value that I as a host put into making this for my guest, whatever it is.
Totally.
I think you're really right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those examples. Those are really good.
Thanks.
Yeah, very good. I want to name some real life people.
Yay, I love
examples here.
Yes.
Okay. So they're not, I don't think they're surprising, but I'll say the least surprising one first, at least to me.
Okay.
Is Nicole Richie.
Oh, yeah.
So we talked about her dad, Lionel Richie, in his episode, which I believe, I didn't look, but I think was also a Cusp episode.
I believe so.
If I'm not mistaken, but I may be mistaken. Anyways, she has this elegance, this refinement.
Yes, totally.
At a pretty young age, started a fashion brand, has really become like iconic. She judges. She's a judge on shows that are about, fashion and stuff. And I think not only like elevates the fashion industry with her like really refined and thoughtful representation of it.
Totally agree.
But I also think has made it accessible too.
Yes.
And you don't feel intimidated by her the way you might with, like Miranda from Devil Wears Prada. You know what I mean? So anyway, I thought that was and she also is just meticulous.
Very intentional about the way that she presents herself and very true to herself and like exactly like, what she wants to be. And that's what makes her so creative and so good at what she does.
And I also want to add, like, even at a younger age, if you want to go all the way back to like the, Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie days. And look, it's easy to look back on that and make fun of it. And some of it is kind of cringe, and it was meant to be. It was reality TV and the very early days of reality TV. Yeah. But I would apply all of this to her even back then.
I would too.
She 100% had an aesthetic. She had a style. She knew who she was. And maybe that's not who she is now. Like, she's evolved. Like, that's what we're supposed to do.
That's what we're supposed to do.
It doesn't mean it was fake or that it wasn't for her own benefit, because it was.
Oh, yeah. She's super smart.
And so, anyways, just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, I love that. That's so accurate. And I really do like her a lot.
So then there's another person I want to name, which is Stephen King, the author.
Oh, wow.
And whether or not you know a lot about him, he's extremely prolific as an author, extremely prolific in his works that have been brought to film. Excellent films, some of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have been really good. He is somebody who has been known to be very perfectionistic and have a standard for himself where, you know, he writes for X number of hours a day, every day. And when he sends things to publish, like he personally like reviews and edits and like is so involved in like every single detail.
Oh yeah.
And he paints, or I would say paint is obviously, he writes, literally writes in a way that is so evocative and puts you right in, and this is where I'm thinking like in terms of sort of aesthetics, he creates an entire world.
Yep.
And it might be horrifying, but you are immersed and every single detail in that aligns and gets you there as the reader where you cannot turn away.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have never been more viscerally impacted by a piece of writing than Stephen King. It just is what it is. Like, he's not my favorite author by any means or anything like that, but the way that he is able to do that is unlike any experience I've ever had with any other writer, almost to the point where it makes me upset because I'm like, how are you doing this to me? Like, this shouldn't be this. He takes the simplest thing and he makes it that. And that's so accurate. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I think he's one that, I mean, looking at him on the outside, he's not some glamour king. He's not some attractive, you know, it's not that. That's not where we're seeing this Libra-ness coming in with all of that. It's really with his ability to, through creativity, create these worlds. And I would just second what you said. Some of the most, and I read a lot and I love horror, and it's one of the most terrifying reading experiences I've ever had have been with Stephen King.
Yeah, like palms are sweating. Like, I don't know what to do.
Yes, and I'll also just say, like, my mom always talked about, like, in the summer when Jaws came out.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, she read it in the pool and, like, couldn't keep her feet in the pool.
I 100% agree with that. I can't agree with it more.
So, like, there can be so much communicated in literature that you bring to your real life experience. And anyways, so Stephen King, sometimes, like, as a popular author, people think, like, oh, they're not, like, a good writer. They're just, like, a popular writer, and they just, like, write a lot of stuff. And that is certainly not the case. He's an excellent, excellent, excellent writer.
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. Yep. So, anyways, okay, and then you know, I just throw out there just Bill Murray.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for every reason that is the same for Stephen King, but not horror.
Yeah.
All of that, just not horror.
And I've heard only good things about people that have met Bill Murray in real life.
Same.
That he's so personable and so down to earth. And I think that also exists in this Virgo-Libra cusp, even though we didn't focus a lot on that aspect in our discussion. I think that really can be present, and I think he exemplifies that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, those are the people.
Well, good for them. I love those people.
I know, right?
Yeah. That's cool.
Not bad. And I think it's a varied list. It's sort of a surprising, like, oh, you know.
I know. I love that they're all just uniquely them. And that is very indicative of this cusp. And I love that.
Yes. So, okay, I don't know. I feel pretty okay about this cusp of beauty now. I can let them have the name Cusp of Beauty. It's fine.
Think about all that beauty that's there.
I know.
Even just the people you mentioned, like, they bring so much, like, beauty. And it's not in a standard way of, like, it being beautiful, because the things that Stephen King creates are certainly beautiful as a word to use, but not in the traditional sense. It's awful.
Right. No, exactly. So, okay, they can have Cusp of Beauty. I have no problem with it now.
That's gracious of you.
And thank you, because I am the decider on that.
See, that's like the overarching thing is like, okay, they can have it. So, like, I see what you did there.
I said they can have it.
I see what you did there. I see it.
All right, but I think that wraps up our big witch energy.
It does. That was good. I like that.
Which means
it's time for
Spell of the Week.
Oh, we did the same thing that time. Have we done the same thing before?
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing ever with this. But okay, I want you to lay it on me. I'm so excited.
Okay. This Spell of the Week.
Ooh, you always have dance moves with Spell of the Week, too. It's always like,
yes, I do. Okay. I'm like feeling it. Okay.
Tell me. I'm going to write everything down.
Spell of the Week comes to you courtesy of Drake because it's inspired by a Drake lyric.
Yeah, why not?
Which is getting high to balance out the lows. Okay, so throwing it out to Drake for this.
We're gonna be smoking some Mary Jane.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're thinking on a higher plane, homie.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So this is what we're doing, though. If you couldn't tell, it's about balance. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to think about an area of our life that could use a little more balance. And this will take some thought. So take your time in deciding what that's going to be. And it could change, and you could do it multiple times. Who cares? But just think of something.
Okay.
Maybe channel in that like Aries full moon energy of like, what do you really want? And maybe something's holding you back that's imbalanced in an area, and you want to bring that more into balance. Okay, so whatever it is, let's say it's like your romantic life or something, just for example. We're going to think about it, and we're going to phrase it as an absolute. We're not going to phrase it as an I want something. We're going to phrase it as an I have. So like maybe for romance, you're like, I have an exciting new relationship that is filled with respect and a lot of spice. Okay? I don't know. Maybe that's what you want.
I like that.
I know. I like it too. It just popped into my head. It's for someone out there. So I have this, right? You're gonna do that. You're gonna write it down.
Okay.
I'm gonna write it down. Piece of paper. I guess I didn't say what the supplies were, but whatever. I'm doing this a little differently. You're gonna write it down. You're gonna fold it towards you.
Okay.
Because we're bringing that towards you. It is what it is, right? It's going to exist for you. Once you feel, so you can hold it sort of over your heart energy center, if that's where you want to kind of embody it, or solar plexus, kind of wherever you feel like you really want to embody it. Hold it there. Once you feel it resonate there, you're going to burn it. You can tear it up. You can place it in a jar and save it to look at later.
All those things.
Whatever you kind of feel drawn to do that with this paper, okay? And with this, obviously, okay, you're going to need a piece of paper. If you're going to burn it, you'll need a candle. Even if you aren't going to burn it, what I kind of like and what I'm envisioning for this setup, because it's about balance, is that you're going to open your circle, and maybe you're going to have like a white handle with like a black crystal, like a Apache tear or black tourmaline, or you're going to have a black candle and you're going to have a white crystal like selenite or moonstone or something.
Yeah.
Just to have kind of those both sides. I really like that.
Yeah.
And then what I want you to do when you're doing this is picture kind of that balance, and picture sort of like the spectrum of color in between that black and that white. And pull in that energy, and really pull in that energy to manifest this thing.
I love using the colors as a focal point.
Yeah.
I just love that. And so if you're obviously working with black and white objects or items, then you're going to be thinking in like a gray area. And I know literally that's a color, but it's, a concept at this point, like living in the gray area, getting comfortable with that. I love that.
That's what you're going to do. Bringing that balance. Getting high on the higher plane to balance out those lows.
Okay. I like it.
That's the spell of the week.
I love the spell of the week.
Good.
Wrote it down.
Love it.
Gonna be doing that because what the heck?
Yeah.
It's Libra season.
Let's do it.
Gotta do it.
So
I guess that about does it for this entire episode.
It does.
Until next time.
Stay witchy, friends.
And stay dumb.
Dumb Witch Club is written and produced by us, Ashley Sidner.
And Jackie Gerard at the Dumb Witch Clubhouse in Orange County, California.
Produced and edited by Matt Heinemeyer. Creative Director and Culture Consultant, Violet Turner.
Original music by Ashley Sidner. And look us up on all your favorite social media platforms, including Patreon.
Until next time, stay witchy, friends.
And stay dumb.